Hello.
Hi.
Hi everyone.
Hi, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning, everyone.
morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. Really good to see everyone.
Good morning.
Huh?
Should we begin, Evan?
Yeah, let's do it.
Super. So before I introduce Evan Hastings, who's going to be the mentor for today's session, let me briefly introduce the program to everyone. This is called the Socially Engaged Arts Directory, or the C Directory. And after many years of working in the sector, both as a performing arts group as well as a puppet theatre group that works in advocacy, education, public health, gender-based work, Katkatha felt the need to, acknowledge the sector and all the practitioners in the sector. There is such fantastic work happening at the grassroots level, at the arts and mental health, arts and therapy, in advocacy, medical advocacy, in gender work, in human rights work. And it was very, very important to bring the sector together. So this is a small attempt to do that. And our partner, which is Take Apart UK, has been doing this work of networking and bringing together the socially engaged arts sector in the UK for about 20 years. And we've taken a page out of their book, and we want to start with this directory. The reason I'm introducing the directory is I hope that some of you who haven't registered for the SEA directory will take a closer look at it and register in it, register your practice, your organizations, and the work that you do. What we hope to do with the directory is make it a free source available to anyone who wants to look at what is the work happening in the various regions of India, both locally at a city, at a 2-tier, 3-tier, city, town, and village level. Look at who the practitioners are, provide the opportunity to network with these practitioners. All the meetings and recordings and sessions will also be available in this resource. And many of the organizations who have registered are uploading their presentations, group presentations. This is also going to be available. So we are hoping this is an ongoing a resource which does not stop with the end of this project. Technically, this project ends in April with a seminar. It's a one-day online seminar, and we hope all of you will be there to attend it. where we are hoping to get findings from this sector and share it during that session. We're very grateful to Clore Leadership and the British Council who are supporting this endeavor, and to our wonderful mentors. So today we have Evan Hastings. Evan has been working in this sector for a very, very long time, and he's worked across countries at several universities, led many international workshops and projects and performances. He's the founder of Shadow Liberation, and a lot of his work has included puppet theater, actors, many art forms, applied theater, theater and education, community-based arts, theater of the oppressed. And Evan will, of course, tell you much more about it. We're really happy to have you here, Evan, to do this
Oh, thank you.
session on facilitation. Yeah, thank you. Over to you. Sorry, just one last thing. At the end of the session, there's going to be a very short feedback form. Please stay and fill it. Thank you all very much. Tell everyone about the mentorships. There are 8 more upcoming. I hope you've registered for all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anurupa. Honored to be a part of it. I think this is a great initiative. And I love the idea of more things that can support people who are working with socially engaged arts. As an unorganized sector, these opportunities to support one another, I think, are golden. This is going to be an interactive session, so I invite you to put your video on if that's comfortable for you so that we can participate with one another. And also, please put your name as you'd like to be addressed by the group, because there's a lot of us here, so it may be hard to remember. So as an easy thing, just put your name as you'd like it. And we're going to play some games and have some discussion. We'll take a little break in the middle, we'll play some more, and then we'll end just a little bit early so we can do the evaluation like they said. So you're welcome to hang in the background if you're not in a setting where you feel you can interact and play. But if you are somewhere where you can turn your microphone on and your camera on, I invite you to do so, and we can play along with one another. So go ahead and make your hands free of whatever you were holding on to. And with your right hand, you make an X like this. At the same time, with your left hand, make an O.
Oh, XO.
XO. Oh, hi, familiar faces.
How to? Okay.
Now do the O in the other direction.
X. Oh,
Now switch hands.
sorry.
Do the O with your right hand and the X with your left hand.
Yes.
Good. And if you're up for the challenge, write your name on the floor with your left foot at the same time. And relax, relax. All right, we're going to play around a little bit. I want to invite you all to turn your microphones on. And we're going to play with opposites. So take a second to see if you can get your mic on and make sure that you can hear me. And when I say yes, you say no. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
When I say stop, you say go. Stop.
Go.
Go.
Yes.
Go.
No.
No.
Yes. Stop. Stop.
Go.
No.
Go. Go.
Yes. Stop. Stop. Stop.
Go.
Fast.
Go. Go.
It was kind of slow though, you have to admit, no? So we are going to be playing and stretching ourselves a little bit through this workshop. I think part of the idea is that when we do things that we're not familiar with, it can bring about new ways of thinking. So in Augusto Boal's Theater of the Oppressed, these games are called demechanizing the senses. And we engage with the world through our senses every day, but the ways in which we do become habituated and routine. And so our senses are not fully awake. The games are a way for us to wake up our senses. And when we're truly awake, we can come up with new ideas and new approaches to the social challenges that we face, which is essential to facilitating community arts projects and socially engaged arts practice. So I want you to look at all the people who are on the screen. And if you know how to do it, you can go to the view button in the upper right corner and you can hide non-video participants so that they can also have their own privacy, and those of us who have the cameras on can be with one another. There we go. So take a second to do that. Were you able to find it?
Could you please repeat that?
Yeah, there's a view little button. It says view and it has the grid next to it.
Yeah.
When you tap that, you get a drop-down menu, and there's a hide non-video participants. So then you kind of get a more focused view of who's here with us. All right, so now I'm looking around at all of you, and I invite you to look at each other too. I'm going to send a message to one of you, and you have to guess who I sent the message to just by reading the face. It's a secret one. All right, so I'll tell you when I'm sending it. 3, 2, 1, send. All right, anyone want to guess who I sent it to? Anyone looking sus?
I think I want to guess Shibani.
I'm
Nice to see you,
gonna
Ayad.
guess
No, not
Anuradha.
No.
Ah,
I'm gonna guess Shivangi Singh.
I'm going to guess Anuradha.
No.
I think it's Ayati. Ayati.
Lalita.
guess Tanushree Mishra.
Ah, all right.
Oh,
Devdeep, you
nice.
got it. So Tanushree, now it's yours. You can DM somebody and we'll guess who it is.
Guess I'm not that great of an actress, so whoever guessed it.
I don't know. You weren't the first guess. So Tanushree, just tell us when you send it so we know. Yeah.
Yeah. They used to come. No, it's not in art class. There was even my boy from Nagaland. It was so beautiful. Residues I found.
I'm sending in 3, 2, 1.
Apurva.
Bobby and not to
I would guess Lalita.
of the sunrises में Bobby को वो किया. Oh, right. That was Bobby. He worked
Is
at
it
the food
Sejal?
Yes, performance.
Is it Shivangi?
I got Bobby is.
Is it okay?
I don't believe it.
Priyanka.
Anuradha? Is it Anuradha?
Suta.
Me? No.
Pranesh.
Akshita.
Lalita.
Anjana?
Is it Devdeep?
Is it Ayati?
Oh, it's Pranesh on this call. Oh,
Is it Saurabh?
Devdeep?
Anushree,
I send the message.
I'm confused now. By process of elimination, it feels like we've guessed everybody. Is there anybody we didn't guess?
Muskan.
Muskan.
Ages?
Priyanka.
Neeti maybe?
Saurabh.
I think we are going on a second round of testing the same people.
Yeah, same people. All right, we give up Tanushree. Who was it?
I think I'll invite the person to reveal. Nobody guessed Shivani.
How you escaped guessing, I do not know. So if you're maybe you're in a place where other people are talking in the background, if you could just keep yourself on mute when you're not active, that way it's not a little bit less distracting. I can hear some background conversation. So when we're facilitating with a group, before you get into the content of what we're doing, it's important that you make a connection among the participants, because that's the first and foremost thing. Connect before content, right? If I don't feel like you've taken the time to connect with me, then I'm going to be less engaged in whatever it is. And if I'm not engaged, then I'm not really getting much out of it, right? And also there should be a sense that you, as the facilitator or mentor or kind of lead artist, that you care about the people who you're working with, that you have some kind of concern and shared interest in them, because nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. So it's important that you take the time. It doesn't have to be said, but it can be in your energy and in your presence, but that you take the time and have a way of doing that upfront in the beginning. It really leads to much better kind of group dynamics and project outcomes, and just a better vibe all around, even for you to enjoy with your participants. So now I want you to think about different games that you could use or play to forge connections and break down, walls between participants. Think about what makes a game fun, and think about what makes a game flop. So the task here will be to go into breakout rooms, and in your breakout rooms, you discuss those two things: what makes a game fun, what makes a game flop. You'll just talk for 5 minutes in the group. If anyone has experience of games that you've done that have flopped, please share. I feel we can learn a lot more from what doesn't work than we can from bragging about our successes. So I'll open up these breakout rooms, and they'll be small. Right now I'm putting 7 per room because I'm assuming some people might not be active in those rooms. And it's going to automatically shuffle you into those, and then in 5 minutes we'll come back. Right? So you've been sent.
Hi, Evan. Okay.
Hey, yeah. All right, welcome back. I hope you had a good discussion in your small groups. Now I'm curious to hear kind of what you identified as some of the things that make these games fun and flop. So in order to do that, I'll initiate a new whiteboard. And in this whiteboard, we'll make two sides, maybe fun and flop. And then go ahead and put your inputs on in terms of what makes a game fun or flop. There we go. Yes, you can draw, you can stamp, you can type. I'm enjoying the chaos. We'll take another 2 minutes, so just make sure that you've put something in there and then go ahead and travel around and read what others have put or drawn. All right, now in the side panel, there are emojis and stickers. So choose a sticker that you like a heart or a star or something, and go ahead and put a heart or a star next to the comments that you resonate with. All right, last chance to make your contributions to this expressive whiteboard. And I'm going to check out where the hot spots are, where there's lots of hearts and stars. I see keeping something simple yet curious has got heart, star, and balloons. Not serious. In the flop side, we had not understanding the demography you're working with. All right, any other votes? High energy games also has a few. Low pressure also has a few. All right, we'll save this. Number of participants, expectation versus reality. Good. It sounds like some of you are practicing in the field. That's a common one. Like, great, I planned something for 5 people and now there's 40 of us. So now I invite you, same thing that we did before. Those of you who have just joined in, you can click on the view button in the upper right corner and hide non-video participants so that those who have the video on are here together looking at one another. And then we'll turn our mics on if you don't have too much going on in the background. That way we can kind of talk spontaneously. And we're going to do a version of Simon Says. But rather than Simon, it's going to be Modi. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that. It's you. So the game is called Yeah, Let's. So one of you says, let's, and you propose something, and then all of us will say, yeah, let's. And then we'll join in doing a version of that thing that you've proposed, and we will carry on doing it until somebody else proposes something else by saying, let's. And then we all say,
Let's.
yeah, let's, and we join in. Yeah, you've got it. You've got it. So anyone have an initial offer to start with?
Let's ruffle our hair.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, let's.
Let's.
I'm going to keep ruffling until we get another offer.
Let's blink our eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's.
let's.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, let's. Let's shake our hands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's.
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 Let's tap the table.
Yeah,
There's
let's.
no
Yeah,
table.
Let's. Let's take some good stretches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's.
Let's.
Let's make a fist and relax.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah,
let's.
Yeah, let's.
Let's.
Let's laugh out loud.
Yeah, let's. Let's take a deep breath.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's.
Let's nod our heads.
Yeah,
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 let's.
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 Understood.
let's drink a sip of water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's.
I don't have water with me.
Thank you for that reminder, actually.
Let's end the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's.
Just making sure you're with me, huh? So we have the criteria, right? We have our experience and our preferences. around what makes a game fun and what makes a game flop. And I noticed on the whiteboard, and I'm sure it was the case in your conversation as well, it's not the same for all of us. Some of
Yeah.
us love competitive games and others don't like the competitive games, right? So I saw some of this you know, some of these contradictions. Some people like a complex game that kind of goes on forever. Others are like, okay, keep it simple and energetic, whatever. So there's no universal thing, and even within a so-called demographic, like not everything is necessarily gonna land. But I liked the comment on the whiteboard that's sometimes it's funny when it flops. That's a good attitude, I think. Um, so I wanted to now open it up to you to share what are some of your favorite games. And I'd like to play some of your favorite games with you. So I'm gonna again open up a new whiteboard, and on the whiteboard we'll put our favorite games, and then we can vote using the stickers, the hearts and the stars and everything, balloons. We can vote for the games, and we'll see which ones have the most traction. I hope everyone's had a chance to write a game. Let's vote now. So go ahead and grab a heart or a star or some balloons, whatever you like. We'll take just one more minute to put our stamp votes in.
I'm not able to see the whiteboard.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for saying that.
Even I can't see that. I wrote it on the chat, but it's just loading on my screen.
Oh, okay. Let me see if there's something I can do to improve that. Um, are you on mobile or on a laptop?
I'm on mobile.
Okay.
I'm on mobile
Um,
as well.
yeah, so I'm on laptop, but what I see is there's different tabs. So there's like a meeting tab at the top, and then there's a whiteboard tab. I wonder if that would be in that dot 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 more section of your mobile. Is someone else on
Is the
mobile that might?
whiteboard similar to the previous one? Like the fun
It's
and
yeah.
flop?
I mean, it would be. I initiated it in the same way as the other one.
Because the first one was visible. This one is not.
Same here.
Okay, so I'm gonna now. I'll stop the interactive part, and maybe this will help. Can you see it now? No?
No.
I can't see it now.
Uh-oh. Okay, one more idea. Okay, whiteboard is closed. Now I will share screen. And I took a screenshot of it. So maybe we can see that. Can you see
Wow.
it?
Yes.
Okay. So Jugaad worked. All right. So this, I think you can read the little ones, I guess, if you squint and look in. I saw also Muskan had commented, I don't even know all of these games. So I share that. So let's see where the interest was. There's a lot of interest on memory games. I Spy with My Little Eye has two. Where the Wind Blows. Where the Wind Blows and Big Wind Blows, are those the same game? I have a feeling they are. Is the game kind of like move if, and then you say something that's true about yourself. Move if you're wearing blue, and then everyone is wearing blue. Or like the big wind blows. Is it that game? Is that what you put?
Yes, yes. I mean,
Okay.
I put that penguin blows, so yeah.
Yeah. So that one's popular. That's got 4 votes. And What Are You Doing has 2, just like I Spy. Uno appears to have 3. What is Quick Gun Murugan? Is that the one where one person stands in the middle and they say like bang bang, and then you have to say bang before they say the second bang? Is it that one?
Sorry, were you asking about Quick Gun Murugan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an ice-breaking game with where you stand in a circle and each person on either side of the person in the center has to shoot the other person across the middle person, like a game of monkey in the middle. But
Okay.
oh, I didn't write monkey in the middle. And they have to, the bullet is the other person's name. So you don't say your name, you have to remember the other person's name. It's a really great ice-breaking game that you can start with and works with all ages because you're forced to go and ask each person's name. the first round is always not going to, it just fails because people realize that, oh, you didn't go to that person, you don't know that person's name. And yeah, but the bullet is the other person's name. If they, whoever gets a name wrong and is late, means that they get shot in by the other person. They're out of the game, and it continues like that until there's only 3 people standing.
Thank you, Suki.
No
This is cool. I like how you gave us a whole
Yeah,
list
these
of
are all
games.
standard.
Thank you so much. So I think I'm going to I'm capturing this memory games was a popular one. What are you doing? Yeah, I guess the wind blows. And I spy. So those were the most popular ones. I'm going to close this now. But I also liked this I love it game that someone had like a slide for that was put up in the top. That's also a nice looking one. So what we're going to do now is think about if you are using a game to try and build trust among a group or build social cohesion, or warm up a group to do some work on critical social issues. Say you're working on doing something that's maybe kind of political or in an anti-oppression space, right? And you know that these are heavy topics. So you're trying to bring a playful spirit so that it's not just all doom and gloom, but you have some, you can be a revolutionary and have fun doing it kind of thing. So you're trying to play the game to kind of build up people's spirits and get that vibe going for the critical work you're doing. How do you do that with these kind of games? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a different set of breakout rooms, and I think I'll let everyone can choose their room, and we'll make 4 rooms. Maybe I'll name them. So we'll put memory games in one. We'll put what are you doing? It's a drama game in the second one. Third room will be wind blows, and it's many variations on that game. And the third one will be I Spy, which I don't know how you'll do that on Zoom, but I'll leave these challenges up to you. All right, what we spy in each other's Zoom screens. So I'm going to open up these rooms in a moment, and you choose which room you'd like to go to. And in that room, you will think about how would you use this game in the context of socially engaged arts, in the context of group facilitation, building a healthy group dynamic. Would there be tweaks that you'd make to the game? And then do it, and then play the game in the small group and see how you can do it online with this particular group of people. So it's not just a theoretical exercise. And you can choose who wants to facilitate and all of that among yourselves. And then when we come back, I want to hear, we'll take turns or whatever, and we'll hear from the different of these 4 groups. So perhaps one person to facilitate and one person who can report back to us. And the idea is to have fun. So this group is the community for this one. So whatever is in the way is the way among us. So we don't have to say, oh, we couldn't do it because of this. So we just get creative and tweak it and kind of find a way of making it work, and we'll learn from that. So I'm going to open these rooms. You can choose to move to one. I'm going to hang around here in the main space in case people get kicked out and need to be readmitted. And then I'll give you a warning. So you'll have 10 minutes in the group to quickly kind of decide who wants to facilitate, how you want to do it, play a little bit, and then reflect. And I'll send you a 2-minute warning. Are you able to self-select a room now? Yes, okay. Shibani, are you having difficulty with it? Do you know which room you want to go to? I can send you there.
Um,
Memory,
Saurav?
memory maybe?
I can't see the options to enter the room.
Okay, I can also send you where you'd like to
Yeah,
go.
you can.
Shibani, where did you want to go?
Memory.
Memory. All right. Sending you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Saurav, where would you like to go?
To the wind blows room.
Yep. Got it.
I can't see the options as well.
You can't see it. Where would you like to go?
I have no idea. Anywhere.
So we've got memory games. What are you doing? Wind blows and I spy.
I also can't see the options, sir.
Oh, great.
What
Yeah.
are you
Well,
doing?
I
What are
can
you doing?
assign you as well manually. I'll assign you too. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
Apurva, I can send you next if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm just choosing. I can't make up my mind.
Oh, that's all. Okay, you can see the options now.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Anuradha? I think you're on mute, Anuradha.
Anuradha, you're on mute.
Yeah, nothing is coming to my mind right now. uh, nothing.
Shall I randomly put you in one, Anuradha?
Yeah,
I'm going to put you in I Spy because that one has less people. It has 3 only right now. So I'll put
Yeah.
you there. Yeah, good.
Hirashmi and Preeti.
Yes.
Yeah, have you picked your rooms or do you
Preeti.
want us to assign?
Memory rooms, please.
Yes, I'll put you there. Hirashmi,
Yes.
would you like me to put you in one of these breakout rooms?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you have a preference?
Memory.
Memory? Yeah. Let's do it. There you go.
And we have Pranesh also.
Yeah. So Pranesh, they're in groups right now, playing games. So we've got memory games. What are you doing? Wind blows or I spy? Would you like to join one of those? Pranesh,
Pranesh, can you
I'm
hear
gonna
us?
send you to I Spy because there's fewer people in that one. Here we go. So when he sees it, he's been offered that link. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. Okay, good. Oh, and we're back.
Oh, yes, he's back.
That's okay. I'll stay here and keep an eye on it. And then we'll let them go, I guess, for another. Maybe we'll start the 10 minutes now because that was a lot of shuffling.
You can take a sneak peek into the groups if you want. I am here to send them back.
Oh, very good, very good. Last time I stayed here and did all
Yeah,
that.
I am seeing here.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
great.
Yeah. I think I'll take a quick washroom break and then I'll be back and pop into the rooms.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, okay.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Uh, I had a moment to pop in and see all of you in your groups. And I hope that that was enough time for you to get to play around. Um, I'd love to hear from one person from each of the groups about some of the insights from playing and maybe any adaptations that you've made to the games. So, is there someone from the memory game group who would like to share first?
I'll go with the memory game,
Yeah.
and others can add. So basically, by the time the meeting ended, we had just created our version of the memory game because we took the time to improvise like how and what we can do. And but yeah, at the end, I guess it turned out pretty well. And what we did was we decided that we would pass an object to on our right side, and the other person can pick out any other object, and that's how we will pass objects around the room. And then we have to recall that who passed what object. So this is what we created.
So we also tried playing a game where we bring somebody to share a memory, and then the next person would add another an imaginary detail into it. Uh, but while we were trying this out, we also figured out it was sort of turning into Chinese whisper rather than what we were hoping for. And so we dropped it, and then we moved to finding the passing the parcel sort of game. Yeah.
Yeah, we were struggling to contain the game at some point because it was going into a larger main event sort of exercise.
Yeah, great. I also felt that when I was in your room. I was like, wow, this could be like an hour kind of thing. So yeah, but yeah, we learn just as much from what doesn't work, if not more. And this is quite an interesting adaptation with the past object. It sounds like you must have just come up with that right towards the end then.
Yeah, I think we just decided to drop what's not working and pick up what can be done.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing and being the first ones to go. Can we hear from someone from What Are You Doing? Did you get a chance to play?
We did. We got a chance to play like a round and a half. And then our challenge was in how do we bring it under like a socially responsible topic. And Muskan had suggested um, things related to textile waste production and waste management and stuff like that. Muskan, please correct me if I'm wrong. No? Happily, I will shut up.
No. It's like textile-based fashion industry, those things. Like
Huh.
impact of textile waste. We were just like I'll just carry on with it.
Please.
So at the end of our discussion, we did play a game that was of what you're doing, and we had to enact it. And then we sort of thought of how we can relate with a socially responsible topic, and we thought of um, going with a storytelling approach. Like we can make the audience enact like what are the consequences of doing that activity, and one person is doing it, then what is the next step other person would do it. So it would be a flow of activities and people would be enacting it. Like, what are you doing? You're washing clothes. What is the impact of it? Microplastics are coming out of it. What is the next step? So they would be enacting it and then representing it as a whole. So that was an activity in what you're doing. We thought of at the end, figured it out somewhat.
Awesome. Thank you, Muskan. And thanks for sneaking in that info about washing our clothes releases microplastics. I'm always telling people also. Um, so that was What Are You Doing? Someone from Wind Blows. Can you share what you had come up with?
Um, I can begin, and others please add your inputs to it. So I think our group left with more questions than answers. Um, so we, at the very end, we got like one round to play it, but I think the major discussion centered around how to play it in a manner which is socially responsible and does not trigger participants. Um, so we were just thinking of ways, for example, if we are introducing this game in a group where the theme is surrounding social structures and how they impact us. So we were thinking how we can, the facilitator can introduce prompts which are more neutrally structured than have certain evaluative words to it. Like, I don't think I'm structuring it correctly, but it was basically around centering prompts around the values and narratives that people hold about themselves and how they see themselves with regards to systems around. Um, for example, there was this question that had come, or a prompt, that big wind blows for anybody who probably has mixed opinions or thoughts about, whoever has any thoughts about how they view their bodies. But then we also got into talking that how these questions can feel triggering for some people. So we were having divided opinions around it, that how some of us felt that these questions can be invitations for conversations that people may not openly talk about. And sometimes these questions could otherwise like feel a little more triggering if people are not ready to have such conversations. So we were also thinking, what is the intention behind using this game? What time or when during the workshop or the group activity do we want to introduce this game? Yeah, these were some questions we got thinking about.
Oh, thanks, Tanashi. That's really rich. And it reminds me of something one of you wrote on one of the whiteboards. Somebody had put opt in. And I think that this is an interesting thing with this Wind Blows game is that I don't have to out myself necessarily. Like I choose whether I move or not. Even if I do identify with something, if I don't want everyone else to know that I identify with that, then I have some agency there. But perhaps also with if you're concerned and want to take extra care around this, reminding participants that they have that agency. Like, hey, remember the like you're encouraged to move if it applies to you, but remember, you don't have to out yourself if you don't want to, kind of thing. Um, so, but anyway, that was just one, I guess, connection between those two things that I saw coming out of this group earlier. Anyone else have any thoughts on that? This kind of rich tension in the game that Tanoshi was naming.
You were talking, yeah, Sanjana.
Maybe Saurav, you can go ahead first.
Yeah.
And then...
So we were talking about like when we were discussing all of these hurdles that might come up with this game, we were also talking about like is this game better suited for certain needs, or is it something that can be customized depending on what the session needs at that particular time? So there were, I think, mixed opinions about that. Yes, I think largely everybody was like, it can be customized. It doesn't have to stay a certain way, depending on what we want to use it for. Do we want to warm people up or get people to introspect? And Muskan added that it's good to have a psychologist on board. So if we are using this to make people introspect, so that if somebody is too triggered, then there's someone to offer care to them and hold them.
Yeah, what a thoughtful group you are. It's great to hear that you spent so much time in a space of care and concern for the experience of the people that you work with. I hope that, when you facilitate that people feel that from you, that they know that you care and they know that you're being thoughtful and diligent in how you're approaching it. And I also wish you a sense of flow, because I know sometimes these considerations can lead to analysis paralysis, right? Where we kind of overthink it and it prevents us from connecting. And so I think that it's lovely. And I offer you this idea of caring, not carrying. So, express that care, but don't allow that to be a burden that prevents you from kind of connecting and getting the momentum going for your group. The last group I'd love to hear from, I Spy.
Yeah, so we started playing I Spy first, and it started with
Saurabh?
locating things. Yeah.
Saurabh?
Yes.
You had wanted me to. Would you still want me to?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll add when I feel like.
Okay. I will. Thank you. And I'm sorry for interrupting. I Spy, first of all, only 4 people, me, Anuradha, Apurva, and Saurabh. And in the beginning, it was only me and Saurabh. And so we were like, okay, nobody's here at I Spy. There's somebody here, but not nobody here. And we're all 4 of us were kind of there because we're like, how do you make I Spy work? Like, how do you make I Spy work? Like, I want I Spy to work. How are we gonna make it work? So everybody's here, and we just start playing right off the bat. Right? We're just immediately whatever's in our surroundings. We're just kind of trying to be respectful and not demand anything of each other, but play I Spy, which is a little challenging considering Apurva's background is just white, and Anuradha's background is her ceiling, a little bit of a curtain, and like a light source. Tara's background is just the side of a window. But my background is my kitchen. I'm making tea, right? So then the game kind of slowly became, what are we spying in Akshaba's background? It was kind of like, a cupboard edge, tea, a stove top, so it was like it was like that. And then I was challenging myself to still spy things that are respectful. So I was like, I spy like a light source. I said to Anuradha. Saurabh said, I spy a curtain's edge, so we were like trying, and then we kind of we paused and we were like, does this work? So we started workshopping from there, and a couple of fun ideas came up. I think Saurabh had like 2 or 3 like really awesome ones back to back. Like I think it was more like emotional. It was a little bit more centered in spying things in a story. So like everyone shares a story, and then everyone else can like spy things in a story. There were a few concerns, and we played with it. We kept going, and a couple of cool ideas came. If Saurabh wants to contribute, or Anuradha or Apurva want to add to what those ideas specifically were, you can. Would you like to, Saurabh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd like
even
to add.
Akshata was saying something about that. If we do like a drawing, like a collective drawing together in a group, and then to notice what elements or what symbols are coming up, maybe then to get, that idea, then everyone can one by one go, oh, I spy this and I spy that, to bring in that energy. And also there was this one thing about building safety that I was sharing, that okay, maybe if we are in a group in a physical setting or even in a virtual setting, and if we give this invite to everyone that let's go to our safest space, and then we'll be playing like I Spy. So then after that, like people can name what safe symbols or things that they see in other people's windows. So it can be like a reminder.
Yeah. Can I add a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
So we started with playing I Spy, locating background. We started connecting it visually, that like what could be done to enrich the backgrounds and ensure success. So we were like, we could keep things in the background, we could get things, or we could each draw things and show those pictures, and people could spy things in that. And then when we were talking about that, I thought how we would scribble things and be messy. In that mess, to locate things would be fun. So I'd like this. This would probably be a very good activity for messy people who want to unshame their mess. So you could sit around with your mess and show your mess, and people could point out individual things because otherwise the mess seems like one big thing that I have to take care of, break it down into parts. So from there, we started getting into how in stories you could use that to pick certain things, things that are probably not said in the story. So you could pick up subtext and things, or it. And then Apurva suddenly, so we were going there. We were going like, okay, I spy denial, I spy, people pleasing. And then Apurva was like, okay, yeah, we can do that. Or we can take something, we can look at dark stuff. We start getting into mess and darkness. It's just like we can take some dark stuff and we could point out some glimmers. So I think the example she shared was of people who experienced abuse of some kind. And when they're telling the story, in that story, you could locate a glimmer. Like, yeah, there was bruises, but there was lipstick. So you could be like, I spy a red lipstick. So that was interesting. And then I think then we went back to how we could also do it visually again by doing a collective drawing, like on the whiteboard, everybody draws and then there will be spice things. And then we ended with aggressive praise. We were like, when an activity is over and everybody has told their stories, we could sit around people and tell them from your story, I spy that you are such an amazing person or whatever, and aggressively just shower them with compliments using I spy. So we could use I spy to find things of contrast. Maybe we thought about, um, yeah, we said it would be very confrontational. We would like it would be so good when there is an actual confrontation required, when there's rupture and there's repair needed, or when the weight of the things that we are spying has been taken away. So if you go into I spy behavioral problems, then if you've already talked about it, then made peace with, okay, I do this and the reasons for this, and okay, I understand. And then it's just a question of, can I look back at my story and unshame even those, I spy denial, but yeah, now I'm not ashamed of my denial. It could work. So yeah, that's where we ended.
Nice. It really went from quite concrete to conceptual. It's great to hear how generative the I Spy group was in the way you approached it. Um, so we're going to take a break now. It's the halfway mark of the workshop. We'll take 15 minutes so you can get yourself a cup of tea or take a stretch and whatever and come back. So right now it's 12:05, so we'll come back at 12:20. Yeah? Okay, good. See you all soon. Welcome back. I hope you all had a chance to have a break and stretch a bit. I know 3 hours is a long time to be on here for one continuous session. So I thank you for that. We'll just do a light activity as people trickle back in. I would love to learn a little bit about what type of you work on in your work, and we'll use the chat for this rather than the whiteboard because I guess not everyone was able to see the whiteboard last time. So in the chat, I'll write what themes do you work on? And we can kind of pop our responses in there, get a sense of the type of work that one another are doing.
Hi, sorry, Evan, what do you mean exactly by themes? Do you mean like in very broad terms, or are you looking for specifics?
Yeah, you can, I guess, I imagine be as specific or this thing as you want. I put down, I work on gender, sexual health, and violence prevention. Those are the main kind of thematic type of areas that I work on.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we should say something or we should do something like because I can't see any whiteboard here.
Oh yeah, so we can use the chat for this one. Because I guess last time not everyone could see the whiteboard, so this time we'll just use the chat and list what type of themes you work on. Just take another moment as people are arriving back to put inside the chat the different type of themes and issue areas that you work on. All right. So I'm going to assume that those who are back are back. Thank you for those of you who've popped into the chat what themes and issue areas you work on. I'm kind of jotting notes myself as well. And there's a lot of overlap between the stuff that we're working on, which is great to see. Yeah, Preeti, did you want to say something?
Sir, once again, sir, sorry, like someone came out. Someone came out. Once again, sir, like I didn't hear you. Sorry for that. Someone came, knocked the door, so I saw there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. So we're going to switch now. If you still haven't put the theme and issue areas you work on in the chat, you can do that now. And I'm going to assume that those of us that are back now. So I'm going to click hide non-video participants and include and encourage you to turn your videos on if you're here. And um, yeah, nice. Some of you gave some broad and some of you gave quite specific issue areas that you work on, but it's really good to see all of that. So we'll play another game together now, and then we're going to break into groups on some of these themes and issues that we work on and talk about what are some of the best practices and considerations for facilitating in those groups. We'll then come and share back in this big group, and then there will be like a creative sharing that we do where you will make something in those small groups to share back with the big group. And then we'll do an evaluation of this. So that's more or less what will happen over the next 1 hour because we'll end at 1:30. All right. So again, put your hands up like this. These pinky finger and thumb, ring finger, middle finger. Tanushree, your camera is picking up automatically. Faster. I think I've reached the limit of how fast I can do it. Okay, good. Relax, relax. And we'll just do one more kind of like grounding back into the space thing. So look around the space where you are and point to different things and call them what they are not, right? So I'd say refrigerator, orange, fan. So, and then try and go as fast as you can, pointing at different things and calling them something they are not. All right. So go ahead, begin. You can start slowly at first and then increase your speed, pointing at things and calling them what they are not.
Box. Watermelon.
Straw.
Are we doing it aloud or typing it in?
Yeah, you can do it aloud. Do it aloud. Yeah.
Watermelon.
I don't know if
Water
you can. I don't know if you can see my video. I'm having internet trouble, but I'm holding a charger and calling it a noose.
Uh-oh. Yes, I can see you.
Okay.
All right, and relax, relax yourself for a second. Enough, bas ho gaya. So you have this experience where there's an infinite number of possibilities. You can call it anything other than what it is. Um, where does your mind go? How do you organize those infinite possibilities? What are you using some? Are you, okay, I'm going to use opposites? Or are you like, okay, I'm going to choose some other category and list things from that category while I point at something else? Is it completely random? Like, what are you, how are you going about doing it? Oh, Anuradha, can you unmute yourself? I'd love to hear what you're saying.
It was random for me. I picked this up and said it was something else. Eraser. And then it was maybe money back or something. So whatever came, and I put one object up and I started talking about, like, said that particular object, which came to my mind.
Good. And were you able to do many?
Yeah, it was fine for me. Anything, just it just came and I put one. It was like, also what was happening with me was I was thinking about the object first and then taking one object in front of me. So I was not actually conscious of the thing which I was picking up. I was more concentrating on the fact that what I'm going to choose.
Yes, interesting strategy. Anuradha. Others, how did you do it?
In my case, like I started with something like I saw this glass case and I saw that this is a book, and then I think I went like, what should I call? Then I started to list food items, maybe the timing of the lunch. So I just called my laptop that you are biryani, and the table that you are a kebab, and then I went on listing all the food items of all the things that I was saying.
Yes.
I think for me it was a complete contrast, and I was overly exaggerating the thing in terms of size. For example, this speaker, I called it car.
Oh, okay.
This pen, I called it a magic wand. So I think it was stemming from a place of like how society wants you to function a certain way, and when you gave this prompt, Evan, I was like, oh, you can do whatever you want, so I'm just gonna blow things out of proportion. Yeah, that was what it was for me.
I like this because we had like completely random, like think about it first before I do it. We have this blow it out of proportion, use with scale, whatever, to make it more discrepant. Shibani, how did you do it?
I actually looked at my dog, which is asking me to pet him. And the first thing that came was watermelon. And then my thought just stopped. I have nothing to add to that because I was not able to point any other after that. And I was like, why am I thinking of watermelon when I see him?
Oh, it's nice that the food ones were fruit oriented. That's
Yeah.
fresh. An orange and watermelon. So similarly, when we're working with groups, there's an infinite number of things that we could do, right? Like with any given group, but we need to approach it somehow, right? We need some kind of organizing principle and whatever. And so you will have some of those that you're used to using in your work. And sometimes they might even have become fixed. Like, I know this is my toolkit. These are my little tricks that I use when I work with groups. And that can be kind of like getting stuck in a category, right? Like, okay, now it's food, it's biryani, it's orange, it's whatever, right? Because it becomes an easy way to organize the infinite possibilities, but sometimes we miss out on other options because we've chosen a certain way of organizing our approach to it. So the idea here, the invitation here is to work with groups who work creatively, on whether that's with creative arts therapies or in a community arts setting or an education setting, on these same themes that you work on, and try and learn about other ways of approaching the subject, the group, um, be curious with one another about like how are you doing what you do? What are your thoughts about that? What are the considerations, I suppose, for working around this kind of thing? Um, in hopes that you can identify what is your own schema, what is your own perhaps pattern that you're using that could be expanded when it comes to working with a group. And then what does that look like for you as a facilitator? So when you facilitate, how could you, I guess, expand that aperture? So Saurabh, you had a question?
I just had an observation because from what you were saying, the fact of naming things randomly. I think initially the trap is to fall into a theme, and when I left that and I started just allowing whatever was coming up, the connections that were being made were interesting. Instead of me making connections, if I was allowing things to happen and look for the connections that existed in that permission, that was very interesting. Like I saw a flower pot and became a chair. There is no way for me to relate that. But then when I look at both of the objects separately, I know that I saw a chair 5 minutes ago. That's why I said it. So that was an interesting exercise to find out how or how I relate things to each other in ways that are not structural, that don't make sense in terms of how I reflect the society or how the society reflects me. So that was I just wanted to note that because that happens in workshops, right? If you allow, like for you doing today, when you're allowing us to, instead of setting a structure, allowing us to play around with things, what comes out is very different from trying to get into a theme and make it easy.
Yeah, yeah. And on the same hand, something you were talking about earlier about barriers to participation, right? And sometimes the threat level, I suppose, or the demand of free association is higher than it is of more structured or kind of indirect ways of getting at things. Thank you for sharing that reflection. So let's think about considerations. I've distilled down four perhaps overly generalized categories of gender and sexuality, disability and neurodiversity, mental health, and climate backslash environment as the most common reoccurring themes. Education was there, but slightly less so. And so maybe we can think of education as a setting within which these themes happen or are explored. So I'm going to open up these rooms, and you can go into one of the rooms you're interested in thinking about how to facilitate groups using the arts to look at gender and sexuality, or disability and neurodiversity, or mental health, or climate slash environment. In the groups, you're going to talk about your approach to working and some of the considerations you think are important for someone working in this area. And then I'm going to give a broadcast in the groups and prompt you to make something. So once you've shared and discussed a little bit, then you can find and create something. And that's up to you, whether you want to do like a group poem or a movement piece or a little drama, or maybe everybody collages and then holds them up. So you and your group can decide what you want to do creatively together, and then we'll share those back and kind of take in what one another are sharing when we share back from these groups. And we share back, we won't do the basically we discussed. We've already done that. So this one, you'll just share the creative bit, kind of 3, 2, 1, and then you'll do your group poem or you'll show your artwork or whatever, and then we'll let that speak for itself. So you're going to spend 20 minutes in these groups now, and that will give us time to share when we come back. So for the first 5 minutes or so, you can discuss a little bit about your approach, and then after that, you can jump into the process of making something together. Yes, Tanushri.
Should I keep it for the later, or
You can ask a question. Yeah.
So I do sense that sometimes as an expressive arts practitioner, I feel intimidated myself as a facilitator while introducing a certain activity or a game, especially which involves a lot of spontaneity and improvisation. So I was just wondering, like, as a facilitator or as a practitioner, what are some things that we need to do to also like upskill or like to expand our own capacities to hold that ambiguity as well, or to
Thanks
develop.
for asking that, Tanushree. I'm not dodging the question, I promise, but I am curious. So what do you do when you feel that way?
What do I do when I feel
Yeah,
that
like when
way?
you're leading a group and then you're like, oh, like I want to do this, but it feels kind of threatening, or what, how do how do you manage it with that?
Um, I think so far what I've noticed, there are instances when I don't go ahead uh, with that lens of curiosity, or with that creativity. But there are also some instances when I just like the tip that you offered previously was the flow. So you got to surrender to the flow, and sometimes you also just got to listen to what the group is forming or shaping into being as well, and not carry the responsibility on your shoulders as a facilitator or as an expert, but almost like co-creating it together, then seeing it from a lens of I am the driver here, I'm the facilitator, so I need to do things. So I think sometimes surrendering and flowing helps uh, to introduce those games or to let the group thrive in its own. Yeah.
Yeah, like conceptually, I agree. And I'm thinking about like what to do, like what would I do if I felt awkward or if I was kind of like felt like I was fumbling or something in a group. Um, and it helps if you're confident enough, I think, to name it, to be like, oh, oops, like, or like, oh, this feels kind of awkward, but let's do it anyway, or whatever kind of thing. So that, and not to make it about you or to like expand on that too much, but just so that you're not trying to hide that you're able to kind of be authentic to who you are in that moment. And then I think that giving yourself permission gives other people permission, because then they'll see that and they'll be like, oh, you felt awkward too, or like even you stumbled or messed up a little bit or whatever. And like, so if you can have the grace with yourself, I think it invites other people to also have that grace with themselves when they feel that way. That's just one initial thought. I think there's many ways of approaching it.
I think I
So,
was also
but
asking about the behind the scenes, like as a practitioner, let's say on a, if not a day-to-day basis, but frequently, are there any rituals or things that we need to or we can do to increase that capacity or the resilience to sort of be a little more on your toes, a little more agile when it comes to using creative arts also, like
yeah,
even for future purposes? Yeah, just
yeah,
kind of
like I think I can tell from some of the discussions I've heard in this group that there's people in here that are into improv theater. And I think that that is really good at building this capacity, this specific capacity you're talking about, like to be like comfortable and to be able to kind of go through the awkward thing, and keep the momentum going, because that's the yes and principle in improv theater. So I would say if you wanted to like really build that muscle, like something like playback theater or improv troupe or any of these kind of forms are really good for that, um, because they're both embodied and verbal. Because the dance improvisation won't necessarily give you the same thing because of the nonverbal aspect of it. Like, um, yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it for you, Tanushree. And I'm sure there's more in the groups. This is exactly the kind of thing I think you can also, I want to invite you all to bring up in these breakout rooms. Thank you for, sharing that, Tanushree. And I hope others can also
thank you.
be kind of honest as well in this way. So we'll go, now it's 12:45. So we'll go into these groups and we'll come out at 1:05. You can choose which group you're in. You'll kind of briefly introduce yourself and the type of work you do to one another, and talk about how you approach it, and then you'll create something together. Any questions about the activity? All right, let's do it. And
In the group,
if you
in
can't
the
see the
group,
groups, I can put you.
Where do we
in the group.
see groups?
Ma'am, in the group, I'll not select who all select me. I'll be in that group.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Where do you see the groups?
Are you on laptop or phone?
A laptop.
In the bottom bar, you have breakout rooms.
Could you
Like,
please put me in a group,
yes.
Edit?
Yes,
Because I
gladly.
don't have that option
That's
here.
okay. Which room would you like to go in?
Any group, I don't know if they're
Okay.
already.
Yeah, sure. I'll put you.
I also can't see the groups. So
Okay. So I'll put you somewhere as well.
I'm in the phone, not a laptop. I'm in the phone.
Do you know which group you'd like to go into, Preeti?
Some which is okay, sir. Who all select me, that is okay for me.
Okay,
Anything.
fantastic. Yeah, I'll put you. I'll put you. Anyone else need help finding their way into a group? Hi, Yashwini. They're in small groups now. You can join one of the groups if you like. One is discussing working with the arts around gender and sexuality. One is about disability and neurodiversity. The other one is climate and environment.
Yes, thank you. My call dropped, so yeah, I'll join. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. What's this, Suki? All right, welcome back. It looked like in the end there was just 3 active groups. We had gender and sexuality, disability and neurodiversity, and climate and environment. Perhaps we can share in that order. Let me just say before we do any sharing also that this is this was just to have a bit of process and use some of our tools. There's no judgment from me, and I invite others to also hold the outcomes loosely as we seek to just kind of learn about facilitating and working with groups in this space more than pressuring ourselves about the aesthetics of the outcome. With that said, because I never like to apologize before I perform. With that said, let's get the gender and sexuality group. Could you share first?
We were using our whiteboard and did not take a screenshot.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately.
I'm going to check if I can see it in the whiteboards.
Yes, please.
No, it was not shared with me.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Lalita, would you have by any chance taken a screen grab?
Yes, I'm just trying to locate where it is saved. Just give me a moment. Maybe by then the other group can
Yeah.
start, perhaps.
Yeah, that seems like
Yeah,
a
just
practical
trying to locate.
approach. Yeah.
Yes.
Disability and neurodiversity, would you like to share?
Others can
Anuradha,
jump in.
can I show?
I think Preeti wants to say
Preeti, did
something.
you want to share?
Yeah, like Anuradha and Kritika was in our group. We three was in the group. We was sharing, but they both I don't know their connecting. Like we are
We were in the
when we are
climate
discussing.
group.
Yeah. See, you can see.
Preeti, I can see the paper, but I can't clearly see what's on it.
I just like when I discussing, just I drawed. If I want to do dark, I can do a dark.
Do you want to tell us? Can you tell us about it?
The
Preeti, would you be able to tell us a little bit about that?
like I'm working in the sex worker, like street-based sex worker. We are working under them. Well, we was in the environment. We three was in the environment group. We don't have any good and bad environments. Like well, when the climates are change, also it is good or bad pollution. We are standing in the street only. We don't have any pollutions like sorry environment. If it is rain, we stand in the street. If it is in very heat, we are standing in the street. If it is very pollutions like public going on road repair, everything dust. My English will be not good. Sorry for that.
So
I need to what.
yeah, it's this is an interesting point of view, Preeti. Thanks for sharing the way that climate change and the environment impacts sex workers.
Yes.
It's
If we
not
go,
often the first. Yeah.
we don't have space to sit also, sir, to take a rest. In that, where is the environment for us? We don't have dignity. People, public are not giving a dignity for us. Only violence they are giving. How the woman will be standing in the imagine of environment.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting us to picture that because it's not something that I was otherwise thinking about, but it's important. And I like how you brought in that word dignity. There was a couple others in your group I want to invite. Geetika, were you also in this one? Did you have anything to add?
Yes, there's so I can share my screen. We I think put down sort of the words and things that we were sharing all of us. So I'll just share my screen around that. Um,
The black sketch in the kurma.
can you see the screen?
Yes.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So three of us were talking about the kind of work we do with different communities, and I think Anuradha works around issues of water scarcity, and like Preeti mentioned, she works with sex worker communities. I work with adults and kids as well. Again, just a generic on this thing. So I think some themes that came up for us. One is that what is the when we think about nature in work. So what is the nature we're talking about? One is there is urban spaces, urban nature spaces. Then there is again street spaces in urban settings or rural or semi-urban settings. So the kind of geographical location in that sense also, what defines nature when we talk about the kind of work we do. And again, I think what Preeti said earlier, I think that when we talk, so I think contextualizing nature, like for sex worker communities, there's no good or bad environment for that matter, which a lot of communities might have the sort of privilege to saying that, oh, I want to go to this space because this is more nature and this is more restful for me. But who has that agency to choose that I can go for a restful break in the nature space, or for a sort of retreat of sorts, that it's going to be a nature-based retreat. So again, questions of access to nature spaces as restful spaces or spaces of work, like again, Preeti said, for sex worker communities or a lot of communities, like let's say pastoral communities, spaces are sort of their spaces of work. So spending time alone in nature is not as restful and mindful as somebody from an urban spaces who will go to, let's say, a mountain and sit there alone and find it a very mindfulness-based activity, but it's not like that. Then also again, questions of who is safe, let's say, going to nature spaces alone, or who is safe sort of in sort of group spaces. So these are things to like when we keep in mind in terms of facilitating group spaces, or when we talk about contextualizing nature in work. And again, how different identities, different privileges, marginalization sort of also shape access again to these nature spaces, and again how that also then defines well-being is yeah.
Yeah. So when facilitating, we should keep in mind, right, that this perhaps a romanticized notion of nature and wellness, and even wraps up with notions of purity, right?
Yeah.
And how all of this can actually be quite problematic and is interrelated with our positionality, right, and our identities and the rest of it. Thank you for that, Geetika and
Yeah.
Preeti. I appreciate that sharing. Um, we'll hear from another one of the groups because we're running low on time now. This was our climate and environment. I think gender and sexuality, you were getting yourself set up. Are you ready to share?
Yeah, we are. I'm gonna share the image. So this is a story with a picture that we collectively came up with
Black,
to talk about.
black
Sorry?
skin. Sorry,
Sh-
sorry. I thought it is in the mute.
No
Sorry.
problem, no problem, Preeti, no problem. I'll continue. Okay. So the idea was to, I mean, we never mind. I'm just gonna let y'all read and take in what you can. Is that clear up?
At least the sky was allowed to choose what color it wore. Thanks for sharing this one. Would anybody like to, from anyone else from this group, like to chime in and share some of any reflections around facilitating with gender and sexuality?
Yeah, so like we were talking about how like gender and sexuality is also, very fluid in the way that we uh could approach with our skill sets is that most of us use storytelling. Like all of us actually were using storytelling as a tool. So how metaphors and symbols can then become pegs for further having a dialogic uh, connectivity with the group, and rather than imposing anything we could explore it more, like uh, there was this journey of the river, so how that can pan out for people who would, there is this one activity that Lalita was mentioning, that they would draw the journey of a river, and then it also, like, bringing in metaphors also gives that safety that, oh, I can talk about it, but it's not just me. So that projective technique coming in to build in more safety, that's required in explorative spaces, and also in, because it's a very, gender and sexuality is a very personal topic, but it's also a very political and very systematic, big social reality and construction. So a lot of to and fro of going inwards and projecting outwards in the whole process.
Thanks for sharing that, Apurva. I love a good metaphor. And just to make sure we still have time to hear from this disability and neurodiversity group, was there someone who'd be interested to share that?
May I?
Yeah.
So
Others?
we got around to introducing ourselves, and all of us are doing such interesting work, and so much is happening. So we spent a lot of time on that. But that was very useful because we ended up talking about, all of us had a common thread of talking about shame and the capacity of the facilitator, primarily like our capacities around shame and in relation to shame. So we talked about that. And then we were getting there was little a pressure to also come up with an output, right? Like, but I don't think we were thinking about the output at all. We were just vibing on the idea of shame and what does that mean and what does that do and how do we talk about it. So some of the things we spoke about was how uh, how we make it less lame, like we convert shame into silliness or use something to reduce the charge around it. Um, I think that was Varun, right? Yeah, Varun was talking about how exploration of shame has to be non-verbal first before it can become verbal. So then we were like in the last minute, and I think Tanushri was like, "Yeah, guys, let's do a word and write a poem." And we were like, "Okay, let's say some words." And as we were saying words, the call got over. So I have these words, and I have these what are the topics we talked about, and I have a poem there. It says, "The big old house of shame, things hiding in the shadows. Nothing it holds here is lame, even if you don't verbalize it or show." Because we kind of talked about all of these things, holding um, the house has the idea of a capacity. We talked about lameness. We talked about showing, hiding. We used the word shadow. Somebody gave the word shadow. Somebody said the word hiding, and then I think the meeting got over. So this was like a couplet for that. That's all we got to. But we realized that all of us are very deeply interested in our shames around our own capacities and how we kind of feel a lot of times. Are we doing justice to the people that we're holding? Is it good? Is it sensitive? Is it triggering? Are we good people for doing this? And we are a little ashamed of. I think there is some shame that we carry. Yeah, that's all I think we have from this group.
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you for going there so deeply. It sounds like it
And
was
now,
quite a rich one.
Sir, now you can see, sir, I did little bit darker.
Now it's much more clear. I'm gonna pin you so that we can all see. There we go. Ah, thank you for that, Preeti. Um, so we're drawing towards the end. I want to make sure that I kind of reiterate and encourage you to fill up the feedback form, which I've just placed there in the chat again for your reference. It's good because you know this as Anurupa had mentioned in the beginning, there's some partnership funding for this, and so it's good that we have these not just numbers of registrants, but also the feedback of like kind of what it means to get these spaces to come together with other people working in the sector. So really encourage you, please do fill that out. And before we wrap up, I just want to end similarly to how we began. So if you could make your two hands free like this.
I would like to also add that
Yeah.
it would be great if you could also fill the directory form. I'm gonna add the link again. So those of you who have filled it, that's great. If you haven't, please have a look. If you don't want to fill, that's also all right. But at least have a look and see if you know somebody who can be a part of that directory. Because at the end, we are just trying to, uh, build capacities and network for socially engaged arts practices in India. So it would be great to have you on the directory. Yeah, Evan.
Please do. Thank you so much for that. Please do fill it up because that's also will help us all connect with one another. And ideally, it will also be a resource to help connect artists and practitioners with projects. I mean, this would be a goal that I would have for the directory, right? So please do put yourself in there. So in closing, maybe I'll shed some of that shame, or maybe I'll keep holding it and examine it and understand the influence it has on me as I work. Maybe I'll take some of these insights that you brought and working with metaphors to make it safe for me to approach the issues and thinking about the perspectives I have on issues that are because of my privilege and try to become more aware so that I'm not just walking with a one-dimensional perspective and imposing my view on others. These were all really great invitations and insights that came from all of you. Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to invite you with your two hands, with one hand to hold the part of you that is creative. You're an artist and you work in unique ways. With the other hand, the part of you that wants to make a change in the world, that wants to make a difference. That's why you work with people and why you work with communities. I want you to bring those together like this. And with that, we'll close. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Ina.
so much,
you.
Evan.
Very
Thank you.
lovely
Thank you.
sharing.
Thank you all.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
Evan. That was wonderful.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to spend this time with you.
It would be great if you could just take 5 minutes right now and fill the feedback form so that you don't miss on it. I think Evan and I, both of us, have shared the feedback form link, or otherwise, you will miss on it, and we'll miss on your feedback, which is very important for us to do better and improve for the upcoming workshops, perhaps. So please do take it's a small form. It's just like tick box, and it'll take 5 minutes. Thank you.
Great, even I will do.
Sorry, we can leave, right?
I think so. I'll see you.
Evan, thanks.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye.